Okay, I'd like to do another book review if I may. I just read this book. It comes out today. Yeah, I know, it comes out today. But because I ordered online, I got an advance copy, so I finished it Thursday. Today is Saturday, so I finished it before the book stands. Now, many years ago, Henry Hill and Nicholas Pileggi wrote this book called Wise Guy. And it chronicles Henry Hill's life in the Lucchese family. I wanted to lower the camera to get the books into view, so if you can't see me, I apologize. Now, a few years later, Martin Scorsese made this movie, which is a G-rated version of the book, heavily modified, heavily fictionalized G-rated version of this book. Like 5 characters in this entire movie have their real last name. Okay, I read this a couple of years ago. Now this I read when it first came out, 10 years ago. I read them out of order. Okay, this is Life on the Run, A Mafia Childhood. This is by Greg and Gina Hill. Now Greg and Gina Hill are Henry Hill's children. They were boy and girl, not two girls, like in the movie. Like I said, the movie was 90% fiction. And recently, this book has come out called Luftansa. Now, most of you have probably seen the movie. Okay. And there's going to be a couple of spoilers here for the sake of arguing, but not a lot. Okay. There are 5 mafia families in New York City. They're pretty much nowhere near as powerful today as they were, say, 75, 80 years ago. Bonanno, Genovese, Lucchese, Gambino. I feel like we're praying now. Bonanno, Lucchese, Gambino, Genovese, and Colombo. Now, the mafia organization is named after the first boss. And after the first boss, decades after he's gone, when the reins of power have been handed down, they still keep his name on the family out of respect for him. Carlo Gambino was the head of the Gambino family. Tommy Lucchese was the head of the Lucchese family in the Golden Age, and Gambino lived a very long time. Now, hence the name. So we're going to focus on Gambino and Lucchese. Now, in the mafia, there are associates. They are basically the hourly wage employees. And there are made men who are the managers. Now, anyone could be an associate of the Italian mafia. Irish people, blacks, Hispanics, Jews, they work together. But in order for you to be a fully initiated made member, you must be either 100% Italian or the boss's son. When John Gotti became the boss, his son was half Russian. He ordered his son to be made. And everyone remembered how John Gotti got his job, so they didn't talk back when he ordered his son to be made. Now, the JFK airport was in an area controlled by Paul Vario, who was a capo or captain in the Lucchese family, and John Gotti, who was a capo in the Gambino family. Now, the made guys and the connected guys do work. Stealing, loan sharking, prostitution, bookmaking, whatever they do. And they make money, and they give a share of that to the capo. Then the capo gives a share of that to the consigliere, who is the third highest guy, and the underboss, who is the second highest guy, and the boss, who is the highest guy. Okay? Everything is kicked upstairs, a part of this, a part of that. And murder is used to keep people in line. Now, many years ago when Tommy DeSimone was 14, there was an older member of the Gambino family who was a friend of his, Billy Batts. And Billy Batts used to shine shoes for... Tommy used to shine Billy's shoes. He used to shine everybody's shoes. and he got the name Spit Shine Tommy. That was not a joke. Batts went to prison for 6 years, and he got out when Tommy was about 20 or 21. Not 40. Okay, 20 or 21. And they're in a club having a party for him, and Batts says, "Hey, Tommy, get your shine box." He just mentions it. He doesn't go, "I get your fucking shine box, fuck you, you fucking scum." No, that only happened in the movie. In real life, he just said, "Hey, get your shine box, Tommy, bitch shine Tommy." And Tommy's like, "Nice to you too, Billy." And then a few minutes later, Tommy went over to Henry Hill and said, "I'm gonna kill that fuck." Now, 2 weeks later, they're in a bar, Henry Hill's club. And Jimmy Burke is talking to Billy Batts. Now, Jimmy Burke is 100% Irish. He's connected to the Lucchese family. Batts is 100% Italian. He's made with the Gambino family. Now, when Billy Batts went to prison, he had a loan sharking business. And Jimmy Burke took it over for him. And when he got out, he said, "I want my business back." Now, in the movie, you see Frank Vincent, who plays Billy, like, "I want what I want to get. I got mouths to feed." That's what they're talking about. Now, if they went to the bosses to have a meeting to resolve the dispute, the bosses would have sided with Billy because Billy's 100% Italian and he's made. Jimmy's 100% Irish and he's connected. So Jimmy loses the argument. They could also go partners on their own, 50-50, and split it, but Jimmy doesn't want to do that. So Jimmy decides to kill him. Plus, Tommy is upset at the spit shine remark. He wants to kill him too. So Tommy goes into the bar, takes out his revolver. There's a married couple in the back. He says, "Shine these fucking shoes." Billy's had a couple of drinks. Jimmy grabs him. Tommy beats the fuck out of him with the revolver. They throw him on the ground. They beat him. They fucking bust him up. He breaks the gun, hitting him so hard. Now, at some point, the woman tried to pull Tommy off. And Tommy spun around and went after her. And Henry Hill got involved, pulled the woman away and said, "Get out of here, mind your own business." And she didn't go to the cops, and they made no problems. Henry Hill believed until the day he died that Tommy would have killed that girl too and her husband too. They really did go to Tommy's mother. She really did make them breakfast. They really did drive out in the middle of nowhere. He really did wake up in the trunk of the car. They didn't use a gun. They used a knife and a tire iron. They really did bury him in the middle of nowhere. Nowhere really was going to become condominiums. They really did dig him up. He really did stink up Henry Hill's car. That part was a little on the true side. Now, you see Joe Pesci, and actually my distant cousin married Joe Pesci's first cousin. I've actually never met him. And look at what a short guy. So in real life, see, Joe Pesci captured Tommy's behavior, but in real life, Tommy was 6'2", 250 pounds. Jimmy was 6'3", about 220. So this is about 12 feet 5 inches, 480 pounds coming down on Billy Batts. Plus he's a little drunk. Now in the mafia, only the boss can kill the made guy. The Gambino's boss, which I think was called Gambino at the time this happened. It later became Paul Castellano. And then he later had an accident and John Gotti took over. But I think it was, the old man was still alive. Did the old man give them permission to kill Billy? No. Therefore it's wrong. Another incident which is not in the movie, a made guy named Jethro had an argument with Tommy. And hit Tommy. And Tommy killed him. Did Tommy have permission to kill the made guy? Once again, no. Tommy was wrong. In the movie, Henry Hill goes down to Florida with Jimmy and they get arrested and go to prison. Remember? Tommy was supposed to go with Jimmy and then instead Henry went. Well, in real life, Tommy got arrested the day before. And Tommy went to Leavenworth for unrelated reasons. Jimmy and Henry went down to Florida. They went away to prison for that. And while they're in prison, Karen Hill is having an affair with Paulie. Tommy gets out of prison before Henry and Jimmy do. He asks Karen to sleep with him. Karen says no. He tries to rape her. She fights him off. 6'2", 250. She does tell Paulie, and there's rumor that she was involved in getting Tommy killed because of that. But here's what happened. When they did the Luftansa robbery, this book shows you every single detail. Here's what happened. Guys that work at Kennedy Airport are all degenerate gamblers, and they borrow money like crazy. They go to the mafia, either Gambino or Lucchese, and they tell Gambino or Lucchese, whoever gave them the money, I can't pay the 20 grand back. But rather than break my legs, there's a truck of Rolex watches coming out of the airport tomorrow at 10:30. Okay? That's how that worked out. Now, one guy, real important guy at the airport, told a wig maker named Marty Krugman to tell Henry Hill, to tell Jimmy, to tell Paulie that there was $2 million in cash coming into the German airline Lufthansa. And they had every minute detail down to it, 100% inside job. Because that area was also run by the Gambinos, out of respect, Jimmy and Henry went to sit with John Gotti. John Gotti was the boss of the family when this book was written and when this movie was made. Therefore, his participation was 100% omitted. And they tell John Gotti, listen, we want a warehouse and another car to switch the goods to, and a place to have the van we use for the robbery crushed into a cube. We'll give you $200,000. And John Gotti said, okay. During the robbery, Tommy took his mask off to wipe sweat off his face and put his mask back down, and two of the victims saw his face, and they were making sketches on for the police. So, the robbery goes down. The black guy, Stacks, is at John Gotti's warehouse. He takes the van, puts on a different set of license plates. They put the money in a second car. Stacks is supposed to go to the junkyard. Instead, he goes to his girlfriend's neighborhood, parks in front of a fire hydrant, goes inside his girlfriend's apartment, sniffs cocaine until it comes out of his ears. They find the van, prints are all over it. He calls Tommy and asks Tommy to hide him. Tommy was his friend for years. Tommy hit him. Paulie and Jimmy sat down with Tommy and told Tommy they got the prints, they're going to get the Stacks, we got to shut them up. Tommy usually likes killing people, he doesn't want to kill them. Okay, fine. They open up the books and they're going to make new guys and I'll put your name in. Okay, I'll kill him. And Tommy went and Tommy did kill him. John Gotti is a capo at the time for the Gambinos, as I said before. He goes to Paul, who's the capo of the Lucchese, and says to Paul, word gets around. I hear you're gonna make Tommy. Tommy killed two of my guys without the boss's consent, and you're gonna make him. And then Paulie remembered when Tommy tried to rape Karen, and Paulie remembered the police sketch that was circling in the fucking newspapers. Okay. So to avoid having a fucking gang war over this, Paulie says, fine, get him. And they made up the ceremony, and he went to the ceremony to be made, but John Gotti was there, and John Gotti killed him. And John Gotti killed him by his own hand. It wasn't written, this book was, Henry died in 2012, but this book wasn't finalized by Daniel Simone, the co-author, until this year. So this book has every minute detail in it. Okay? Every murder, everything you see in Goodfellas, 90% fiction. This entire book has every minute detail of everything. Every inside trick, every inside man. There's no punches pulled in this book. Okay? So, we have, now if you want to read them in order, this comes first. Chronologically, This book takes place at the same time as this book, because this book mentions Lufthansa and gives a few details. This book gives every minute detail. So these books are kind of sort of like running on the same timeline, with a couple of differences here and there. This book is the sequel to this book by his kids. Okay, and like I said, this movie was a Disney-fied movie. Okay, so that's it. Okay, and I think we're done here. Thank you.